Hello students, this is Ambush sir. I welcome all of you in this online lecture of biology. In continuation of the lecture 1, today I am going to start lecture 2 of chapter 1, that is the living world. Here I will discuss the third property of the living organisms, that is metabolism. Okay, let us begin. Metabolism. Students, all living organisms are made of chemicals, or better say, biomolecules, that undergo constant construction and destruction. This leads to the generation of some other biomolecules through specific chemical reactions. In fact, this very is metabolism. Therefore, we could say that metabolism is the sum total of all the chemical reactions occurring in an organism. Now, come on to the chemical reactions that constitute metabolism. Well, there are two types of chemical reactions that constitute metabolism. These are number 1, anabolism, and number 2, catabolism. Let us take one by one. First, anabolism. Students, these are the points that explain anabolism. Let us take one by one. First, it is the sum total of building up or constructive processes, meaning the complete summation of all the processes running in the body of living organisms wherein something is formed is anabolism. Next, anabolism produces complex materials from simpler ones. This statement is altogether implicit. Why? Because anabolism implies building up or construction, right? And this happens only when two or more things react. Obviously, this will lead to complexity. Next, it stores energy because reactions pertaining to building up or construction involve the formation of new chemical bonds, and we are informed that energy is stored in bonds. Next, kinetic energy is changed into potential energy. This statement gives an implicit concept. All of us know that substances react only when they have sufficient energy, called the energy of activation. In fact, this energy of activation indicates kinetic energy. At the moment of product formation, this energy gets stored in the new chemical bonds in the form of potential energy. Next, and the last point, anabolism is required for growth, maintenance, and storage. This statement is very easy to understand because when new substances are added to an organism that turns on growing, growth in turn maintains any of the damage to the body. Excess amount of food is stored, as in the case of glycogenesis. In this way, growth, maintenance, and storage are all because of anabolism. Now moving on to the next slide. Examples of anabolism. Some of the examples of anabolism are as follows. Number 1, photosynthesis. Number 2, glycogenesis. Number 3, protein synthesis. And number 4, lipid synthesis. Photosynthesis. Students, by taking very familiar example of photosynthesis, now we will understand anabolism. Well, photosynthesis is not a new topic, as all of you studied this just in class 10th in the chapter named Life Processes. So, what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a biochemical process wherein the raw materials, that is carbon dioxide and water, react to give rise to glucose. Students, to start the reaction between the raw materials, energy is required, that is given by the sun. This biochemical process is strictly found in green plants as they have chlorophyll. Students, do you know the function of chlorophyll? Yes, it traps the energy of the sun and diverts towards the reaction center where in fact the raw materials are ready to react. Now we can summarize that photosynthesis is a biochemical process wherein carbon dioxide and water react to form glucose in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. In this process, oxygen is a byproduct. Now, concentrate on this illustration showing the process of photosynthesis. Here, carbon dioxide is taken from the atmosphere, water is absorbed from the soil. These two raw materials reach the leaves where chloroplasts are positioned. Inside each chloroplast, chlorophylls are organized that help to trap up the energy of the sun. Finally, this energy converts the raw materials into glucose along with the release of oxygen as the byproduct. Now, come on to the theme. Why is photosynthesis an anabolic reaction? So, in the answer to this question, just concentrate on this chemical equation of photosynthesis. Here, carbon dioxide and water, that are the raw materials, react and synthesize a complex substance, the glucose, that is C6H12O6. Therefore, photosynthesis is an anabolic reaction. Now, moving on to the next slide. Catabolism. Students, these are the points that explain catabolism. Let us take one by one. First, catabolism is the sum total of breakdown or destructive processes. Meaning, catabolism is the complete summation of all the body processes of living organisms wherein something is broken down or destroyed. Next, it forms simpler substances from complex ones. This statement is again altogether implicit, as in the case of anabolism, because catabolism itself says about the breakdown of complex substances. And we are already aware that such breakdown leads to simpler forms. Therefore, catabolism forms simpler substances from complex ones. Next, Catabolism releases energy. It is very natural because the formation of simpler substances from complex ones involves breaking of the chemical bonds. And when the bonds will break, energy will automatically release. Next, potential energy is changed into kinetic energy. In fact, the stored energy in a substance is its potential energy. This energy changes into kinetic energy when the bonds break. Obviously, it happens in catabolism. Next, the last point. Catabolism is required for performing various activities of living organisms. For this, I would like to say it is a common sense that the execution of activities demands energy. And whenever we talk about energy, it is made available by catabolism. Now moving on to the next slide. Examples of catabolism. Catabolism has two well-known examples. These are cellular respiration and digestion. Students, to understand catabolism, now I am going to explain cellular respiration in detail. Now moving on to the next slide. Cellular respiration. Students, now we will see catabolism by taking a very usual example of cellular respiration. Well, like photosynthesis, cellular respiration also is not a new topic because all of you studied this just in class 10th in the same chapter named Life Processes. So, what is cellular respiration? Cellular respiration is a biochemical process wherein energy is released inside the cell when the glucose or any of the other respiratory substrates like fatty acid, glycerol, and amino acid is oxidized. This happens in the presence or absence of oxygen as per the type of cellular respiration and various enzymes of the cell. Presence of oxygen leads to aerobic cellular respiration, whereas the absence of it leads to anaerobic cellular respiration. Now concentrate on this illustration. This is an illustration of cellular respiration. Students, you just focus on glucose getting entry inside the cell. Its first territory inside the cell is cytoplasm or cytosol. Here, its breakdown starts, and after a series of reactions called glycolysis, it gives rise to two molecules of pyruvic acid or pyruvate. Now further, pay attention to the fate of the pyruvic acid that depends upon the absence or presence of oxygen. In the absence of oxygen, the pyruvic acid breaks up into ethanol or lactic acid, also called lactate. During this, a small amount of energy is released. This type of breakdown is called anaerobic cellular respiration or fermentation. Now, in the presence of oxygen, the pyruvic acid enters into mitochondria where it converts into acetyl coenzyme A. Acetyl coenzyme A in turn enters into a cycle called citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle. Finally, sorry, finally, inside the mitochondria, the complete skeleton of pyruvic acid is broken down that results in the formation of carbon dioxide and water with the release of the comparatively high amount of energy. This is in fact aerobic cellular respiration. Now moving on to the next slide. Summary of the cellular respiration. Now we can summarize the entire steps of cellular respiration illustrated in the illustration of the preceding slide. The summary is as follows. Glucose, having 6 atoms of carbon, enters into the cytosol or cytoplasm of the cell. Here it undergoes the first breakdown and forms 2 molecules of pyruvate or pyruvic acid, each with 3 atoms of carbon. Now, the fate of pyruvic acid depends upon the absence or presence of oxygen. In the absence of oxygen, anaerobic cellular respiration takes place by the further breakdown of pyruvic acid that results in the formation of ethanol or lactic acid. With this, a small amount of energy is released. In the presence of oxygen, pyruvic acid enters into the mitochondria where it undergoes further breakdown and finally gives rise to 3 molecules of carbon dioxide and 3 molecules of water. Along with this, comparatively lots of energy is released. In this way, a complete skeleton of glucose is broken down. In fact, this is the catabolism of one glucose molecule during aerobic cellular respiration. Now, this is the chemical equation of the aerobic cellular respiration. From this equation, it is evident that C6H12O6 or glucose, a complex substance, undergoes breakdown in the presence of oxygen and enzymes into simpler forms like carbon dioxide and water with the release of energy. Hence, it is a catabolic process or catabolism. Now, moving on to the next slide. Metabolism, a defining property. There are thousands of metabolic reactions occurring simultaneously inside all living organisms, be they unicellular or multicellular. In other words, all plants, animals, fungi, and microbes exhibit metabolism. Metabolism, therefore, is a defining property of all living organisms without exception. A question arises here. Why is metabolism a defining property without exception? The answer is very implicit, and that is because it is not found in any of the non-living things. Now, come on to the isolated metabolic reactions in vitro. Well, metabolic reactions can be done in vitro, that is, outside of the body of an individual, or in other words, in laboratory. In this way, it can be told isolated metabolic reactions are not the property of living organisms, but surely are living reactions. Instead, metabolic reactions which can happen inside a cell are the property of living organisms. Now moving on to the next slide. Questions for practice. Students, these are some of the questions that cover the entire lecture. Evaluate yourself by answering these questions. Besides, make your own notes based on the lecture. Thanks for listening to me. In the upcoming lecture, I will be back with some more energy. Till then, take care, stay at home, and keep learning.